All right, good Saturday evening, everybody. Joshua Rivas here, and it's been a pretty active day so far across parts of the South. We had a squall line move through parts of the South earlier on today, bring in some wind reports and even a few tornado reports across portions of some of the southern states. And we are about to go through round two right now. Actually, it's ongoing. We've had numerous supercells start to pop up across portions of Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, and now we're starting to look at Alabama, parts of the Florida Panhandle, and southeastern Louisiana, where it turns out to be that there is a PDS tornado watch in effect until 3 a.m. Central Time. Again, it's one of those rare tornado watches that we call a particularly dangerous situation, which basically means that the Storm Prediction Center and other forecasters are pretty confident that there is a likelihood of seeing some long tracked intense tornadoes. So portions of the Florida Panhandle from Mariana towards west towards Pensacola, you want to make sure you have your radios on or your phones charged, some way of getting alerts. This also extends westward towards Mobile, parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and up towards even just south of Birmingham. There's also a risk of some potentially intense tornadoes, and we'll likely see some of those severe storms eventually progress a little bit further north into northern Alabama and eventually into Georgia going into the early morning hours on Sunday. Some of our models are predicting that. Now, are we going to see another PDS tornado watch further east for parts of southern Georgia, even parts of, let's say, Tallahassee, Panama City? Still a little too early to tell. Some models have tried to show some supercells in these areas as we go to the early morning hours on Sunday in just a few hours. But again, we just don't know for sure yet. No watch is in effect for those areas I just mentioned just yet. But I do suspect at least a tornado watch will be in effect for Tallahassee, Panama City, parts of Bainbridge, Thomasville, parts of Georgia there will be in effect as we go over the next few hours or so. At least tornado watch. Now, will it be a PDS one? We'll have to wait and see. So again, a pretty active night will be ongoing across portions of the Florida Panhandle, Alabama, and still across portions of Mississippi and northern Louisiana and Arkansas, as well as that cluster of storms begins to move towards the east. Now, as we go into Sunday, we're looking at still an enhanced risk of severe weather. We could see some significant winds, damaging winds at least. Just above the surface, what we call a low-level jet stream will be in place, or at least some models are indicating that that could happen. And if that's the case, if you get a strong storm, it could yank down some pretty strong winds. Some models are indicating you could see winds gust near 70 to 80 miles per hour if the storms get that strong. So again, for our areas we go into Sunday, it's actually a bigger question mark. Models have really been struggling in terms of the orientation and lifetime of the squall line that's supposed to impact our area for tomorrow. So again, I think once we go into the morning hours tomorrow, I think we'll have a little bit better idea as to what to expect in terms of severe weather. Are we going to see how strong that squall line is going to be? I think once we get into Sunday, we'll have a much better idea. But either way, there's still a risk of severe weather. It's elevated. And you can see also there's also a hatched area for the winds across Tampa Bay, or at least Tampa, northward as we go into the day on Sunday. We'll see if they decide to elevate that or not. Also, really quick, we're going to look at the categories in case you are not familiar with that. Of course, our area is enhanced for Sunday, which means that numerous severe storms are likely. We could see quite a few reports of damaging winds, again, depending upon how strong the storms get, how strong that squall line is, how strong the winds are just above the surface, if those storms can bring that down. And also for tonight, that moderate risk in effect for parts of Florida Panhandle, Alabama, Mississippi. That basically means more widespread severe storms are likely, and we are clearly seeing that as we speak, and we will continue to see that into the overnight hours. So again, to recap, pretty nasty night ahead across portions. pretty much across majority of the South, because we have severe storms over towards Louisiana, Arkansas ongoing. That shifts eastward towards Mississippi and northern Alabama areas later on tonight. And then you have the southern extent, which is actually the more severe side as we go into the early morning hours. Those could experience some intense tornadoes. That's why we have that dangerous situation, or particular dangerous situation in that tornado watch box for areas south of Birmingham and Marietta westward in parts of the Florida Panhandle. So again, any friends over there, if you know anyone or anyone listening to me right now in the Florida Panhandle, that's you want to make sure you have everything ready for yourself tonight to be prepared for any warnings that do come your way. And the same thing, this will shift eastward towards Tallahassee as we get to the early morning hours on Sunday. Again, not saying we're going to be seeing long tracked or intense tornadoes, but there is that chance of a tornado happening and some severe storms. Thus, you still want to have your radio and plans in place for the overnight hours tonight. And again, Tampa Bay, just be on the lookout tomorrow. We'll have more updates going into Sunday once we have a better idea as to what exactly to expect. But either way, right now, we are anticipating a squall line coming in just after noon on your Sunday and then going into the evening hours. I'll have more coming up a little bit later on Sunday.